we are taking a look today at travel trends for 2026, having a look at what some of the experts are saying that they're seeing emerging in terms of where people are wanting to go, what kinds of experience they are wanting to have, what is shifting in the way we travel, the way we plan our travel, and more. So we're going to be taking a look at some of the off-the-radar destinations you might want to consider and some of the ways of personalizing your retreats. And to help us navigate all of that, it's a pleasure to welcome back to studio travel writer and publicist Allison Foat, who we chat to regularly about her round-the-world travels. And she has been taking a closer look at some of these big trends emerging into 2026. Great to have you back with us again.
Thanks for having me.
What's on your travel radar for this year? Do you know yet?
I do. I'm doing Shamwari, so I've got a safari coming in
Lovely.
next month.
Okay.
And then my husband and I are doing a personal trip to Lisbon, Milan, Porto, Paris for our 35th wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Age revealed right there, anyway.
No problem. Looking great for it and traveling well for it, so why not? Okay, while you're mentioning Shamwari, we had a conversation in Book Club on Friday about the story behind Shamwari and the amazing transformation of that landscape. If you missed it, please go and look for the podcast on primemediaplus.com, because it was just fascinating learning how what was farmland was completely rewilded to create that very special reserve, which remains on most of our bucket lists. So lucky you.
Yeah.
Okay, so a mix there of African bush destinations and real sort of cosmopolitan European.
Yes. Mixing it up.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
fabulous.
I love to do.
Particularly the African bush, though, the destinations do seem to be one of the emerging trends that people are looking to travel a little bit closer to home, certainly from South Africa.
Yes.
And the rest of the world is also starting to eye this part of the world a bit more.
Totally. So to the last point, UK, United States are really the big long-haul destination areas where people are coming in their droves. The percentages are way up. But, you say safari and sort of off the grid, off the beaten track. So, I mean, you don't even have to go into Africa. You can start off right here, for instance, in the Cedarburg, where I just spent some time a week at Enjo Nature Farm. And there was the off-grid situation, no Wi-Fi at your cottage. So the disconnect is real.
Yep.
You can go to the farmhouse and get, caught up. But literally you are in the books. I painted, I did things, I read magazines cover to cover, like when did that last happen? Sometimes I feel I'm so attention deficit, with I speaking to the gadget, what have I missed type of thing. But really is, people are wanting to go places where they can have AI assistance maybe on working out a trip, but it's like tech for that, but then detached from the tech for the rest. So the low-tech travel once you're in the place or once you've arrived.
So use the tech to help you plan to the nth degree and then leave it behind or lock it away and don't access it while you're there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real sort of investment in one's mental health to have that kind of breakaway.
Totally.
On that note, health and wellness travel it's a trend that's been emerging for several years already, but it's really having its moment, isn't it?
Yes, so true what you say. I mean, we've been talking about that for a long time, disconnecting, and it's the digital detox. It's a bit of an overplayed strapline, a lot of the time. But truth be told, wellness travel is less about the spas and those types of things and more about resetting yourself, and the call to that is just in nature. I mean, we spoke recently about Grootbos and the forest bathing. I mean, there you leave your phone behind and you literally are walking. All you've got is the sound of the trees, the birds. You running your hand over moss. It's textured. It's quite meditational, and you've got a guide talking softly about the things and explaining the environment. It really is quite special, and it drops quite deep, and it impacts you. For me, at a cellular level.
Absolutely.
Really.
There's something that it touches inside of us. Well, next week's episode, we're taking a look at Bliss and Stars Wilderness Retreat in the Cedarburg, which sounds like an incredibly special version of what we're talking about here.
Wow.
So I won't say more than that for now, except to say that if you love the idea of going stargazing and eating healthily and just having an absolute break from all of the noise around us, make sure you're listening next week. Okay, so that's the wellness travel aspect. For those lucky enough to be able to afford luxury travel, Alison, what are the trends emerging in that category? Because even that is having a bit of a shift in terms of what people are looking for. It's not so much about the big splash, conspicuous, over-the-top everything.
Yes.
It's lovely to have some of that if you are able to afford that. But what's happening in the luxury space?
So luxury's really redefined itself. So as you say, less about the excess and more about the authentic travel. But with that, I think wrapped up into that is extending your stays. As I think I mentioned earlier, Colin Bell just mentioned that he has people that have come to Gwegwe, which is on the wild coast in an area called Pondoland, and they stayed for 3 weeks. I mean, people, that's a deep immersion, and that is obviously, that is big dollar. But the point is, if I think about desert rhino camp in Namibia, where Wilderness puts out a tour into that region, it's like desert camping. It really is about solace and intimate excursion. So you don't have a lot of people traipsing behind you. It's you and a guide. It's very curated, very private. And you have this one-on-one with this amazingly skilled ranger who takes you into the field, and you come away with something that's really so deep and meaningful. Or Serikafema, also Namibia, right at the northwest corner, and that's where the Himba are, and you know that everything you're doing, this is the new luxury as well, you want to know that you're making an impact in conservation and local communities. So you find out what this outfit is doing with the dollar that you're dropping in terms of how are they changing the lives of kids and communities on the ground, whether it's water supply or, helping with food or just generally, high impact but legit. It's a lot of integrity travel. I think that is a luxury. Spending time, going on road trips, taking the train, slowing it all down. I think that is the big message that I got. No matter what you do, whether it's a big city like Paris or you're going to the Cedarburg or into Rwanda, it's just stretching it out and going slower and connecting. People really want to talk to other people that live in other places, whether it's somebody that's a member of a tribe in Africa or a cafe owner in a tiny little spot in a hole in the wall in Paris. Yeah. That's where you're standing and having your little espresso, and you're having a little banter. I don't know, that's for me very precious.
Do you think that is in some degree having its moment as a pushback against the sort of influencer Instagram culture? Because I'm thinking I was privileged to be in Bali last year and a couple of the other nearby islands, and it's very obvious that it's almost divided into two kinds of travelers. There are people who are there trying to find a quiet surf break, a natural experience, to try the food, to interact with locals, and then you've got people who are literally just running from Instagram worthy spot to another, literally between photo frames, just trying to sort of tick the box that they were there and captured the photograph. And it's leading to this kind of, firstly, massive crowd issue and traffic issues. But it's also just, you could almost you could see them looking at each other in disgust, going, that's not the way I wanted to visit places.
100%. It's actually quite gross for me when I see all of that. The messaging, another messaging thread that came through was stories, not selfies. Yeah. So how can you do that? How unsatisfying is that when there's so much that you can take out of these big cities of the world? Yes, you absolutely should be ticking those boxes. You want to see the Louvre, you want to do the Eiffel Tower, but you can kind of do that on a red bus, hop on and hop off, and you can do it and be done with it. And you can go in and see the things, but there's so much more. Like Paris, what I'm planning to do now is, once I've done what I need to do in terms of in the city itself, I've got to go to the ballet, of course, do different things, taking a road trip down into a few villages around there. So that's something whole different thing. Then you deeper dive into the medieval side of things. There's so much you can do. You can take a boat, the Canal du Midi. I did that with Matham once. Hello, Matham. So, things like that. It's like so divine. You hop on and you hop off your bateau and you go and taste wine. And there's so much. And really, I think we owe it to ourselves. We're dropping the money. We're spending all of that. So we have a broader experience. And please don't come anywhere near me if you're on your selfie stick and doing. It's just not cool, actually.
Allison Foat is our guest. If you want to respond to anything she's saying or react to the trends that she's describing, if you agree with some of the ideas that she is sharing, please do feel free to join the conversation on 0725671567. Allison, as you've mentioned, the one place where the tech does help and where you want to make good use of it is in the planning of a trip.
Yes.
And talk to us a little about how AI is changing the way people, because I'm seeing sort of two different streams of thought emerge. I'm seeing one stream of people who are like, I want to do all of it with AI. I feed it a prompt. This is what I'm looking for, and see what it spits out. And then I'm also seeing people saying, you know what? I really miss the point of contact of having a human being travel agent. I can phone when things go wrong. If my flight is diverted or my luggage is lost, I want a human being to engage with it. So it's quite interesting to me that there's sort of almost two divergent streams of thought here.
Yeah. Look, I think I personally quite enjoy interaction with a travel agent, especially, for instance, now we're doing a multi-city trip.
Yeah.
So we're going in via France, we're coming out via Lisbon, and there's a lot of connections, and certain things can't be spontaneous because, if you don't book, for instance, train travel ahead, it can cost an arm and a leg. I mean, I think we looked at, we'll be brave and go Paris to, I think it was Milan. It was like €300, but it's like on EasyJet, it's like 37 euros.
Yeah.
So there's that. So that is a real assurance for me to be able to sit one-on-one at somebody's desk and go, help me with this and the other, and then I'll do all the things in the middle. So where I think AI is so useful is I'm using it for my Lisbon trip and Porto trip to just spit out something interesting about the things I like. We love jazz bars. We love, where's the great pastry places? We have got to just hoover those pastéis, right? We want to go to the Algarve. We want to do a little wine trip. So put it into AI, see what it pops out with in terms of the sort of chronological order of things, so that everything that makes sense. Because if you're going in cold, and I haven't been to Portugal for like a year and a half, I want to make sure that I'm not going the wrong way around. What fits, it synchronizes.
Look,
it.
I'm heading to Paris at the end of April on my own for a week to get lost and walk and not tick boxes, just to... But what AI told me is that Tori Amos is playing in Paris in the week that I'm there. So I would have completely missed the fact that one of my all-time favorite artists is performing in the city I'm going to be in. So, thank you very much, AI.
Yes.
We'll take it and book that ticket.
You can get the best of both.
Yeah.
You can do. So it says, high-tech planning, low-tech travel. So do the necessary, do your research. And somebody also said it actually comes down to decision fatigue. We're making decisions and choices and things, scheduling ourselves into a small coma every day of our lives. Yeah. So why not give it over to this bot? Mindtrip.ai is what I saw online.
Okay.
And there's another one called Layla, Layla. So those are quite useful. One is for the budget travel. The other one is for whatever you might want. And I'm just curious to see what it lands up giving me. But the rest of it I'll do myself. So it's a suggestion.
Jay agrees with that approach, saying you can make use of AI to arrange your travel itinerary based on your tastes and preferences.
Yes.
Then what he does is forward it to a travel agent to have them make the arrangements, and it's the best of both worlds.
I love that. I think I might thank you for that tip.
Nice tip, Jay. Thank you. Okay, so some of the big guys like Condé Nast Traveler and Nat Geo have put out their list of sort of the must-go-to destinations, and I always laugh at these lists because all that happens is everybody goes there, and then everyone comes back and says, "Oh, they were too overcrowded."
Yeah,
it felt like the whole of Cape Town went to Greece about 3 years ago, and half of Cape Town is going to Albania this June, July. But as a matter of interest, what are Condé Nast and National Geographic saying are the kind of emerging destinations of the year?
Well, I honed in on Africa. They talked about the top three. I think was Namibia, Botswana, Rwanda. Okay. But then I read somewhere else that Gabon is going to be very interesting. Still incredible forests and untapped eco reserves and landscapes, etc. So if you want to reset in nature, that might be a good one. I'm very keen to go.
It's been on my mental radar. I'm going to show myself up here. But since watching Survivor Gabon, which I think was about Survivor Season 3, I'm that old. But they shot a season there, and I remember looking at those sort of zoom overs as each episode started, thinking, where is this place? Because as you said, that absolutely dense, untamed jungle, it looked amazing. Yes. And I've sort of always, whenever I hear it mentioned, it pings in my head because of that mental picture.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So you've got to find the right outfit that can guide you, because I wouldn't go, because I travel solo. I would not do that on my own. Okay. But what I've noticed as well is people, there's always the sort of city du jour, and we're all going to Greece this year, and then everybody is going to Spain and then Estonia. What there's a definite push is to find really individual different destinations, so you can come back with something unique that hasn't been tapped into before by people that you know in your immediate circle. So be braver, explore more, do something different. So I'm quite keen to do that. I want to go to different destinations in Europe this year. Definitely want to go back to Japan, but not necessarily to Tokyo and Kyoto, which I've done. I want to go to the Northern Islands, but in the fall, where apparently it is sensational. You think forest bathing at Grootbos this takes it onto a steroid level. It is next level, and again, very curated, but this is where the turning of the leaves happens. So all sorts of different things you can do, and you can go for hikes and walks. I think you like to do that kind of thing. So I think hyper-individualization is one of the things they call it, making it unique, finding something that nobody else is doing, and just working it your best way with your friends or whoever you're going with, coming back with something super special.
And that goes for local travel as well as
Absolutely.
international. If you know, and I know we South Africans do
all.
tend to get into the habit of we go to the same place every Christmas or every Easter, etc. And it's lovely to have those core memories and attachments to places, but sometimes it's actually really nice to go somewhere completely different and just experience a different part of the country. Right. I mean, I want to just pick up on something you said about barging in the Canal to meet in France. I'm also working on a barging trip plan, and I've got to say, if you like traveling at a slow pace, where you set the agenda each day, you decide where you stop, where you go, where you want the experience of pottering along on the water, but not a cruise type experience where the next port and the destination, and if you want the port trip, you've got to be ready at a certain time to leave, etc. It's the opposite kind of waterborne holiday because you are pottering along canals and rivers very slowly. If you're going to do it, my advice is rent a bicycle for every person on the boat so that you can hop off, cycle into the nearest town, find the market, buy some baguette if you're in France, whatever it is.
Totally love
As
that.
you said, go wine tasting.
Yeah.
Stop when you feel like stopping, moor on the side of the river, and just, wake up when you wake up. It's
gorgeous.
That slow pace.
It is gorgeous.
Is something so special. I'm so excited to be doing it
so
again.
Slow and quiet and calm, and the people are divine. I've done 4 or 5 boat trips right into Italy, into Venice, all the rest of it. Africa Milani can tell you stories about the Venice trip. I think I nearly dropped over into the drink. That was interesting.
I did drop into the drink in a lock in France. So, all I can say is, if that happens to you, please block your nose and close your mouth as you go overboard. You can thank me later.
Yes,
okay?
100%.
Not water to be drinking in. Okay, Alison, I know you always post on your site, your blog, about what we've discussed on air.
Yes.
If listeners want to come and find some of your input on travel trends and some of these destinations you've been chatting about, remind us where they should be looking.
CapeTalk.com, but give me 30 minutes. I haven't put it up yet.
Okay, but so go there anyway, because there's already a lot of stuff up that you've mentioned
and
here
Instagram,
from previous conversations.
Lots of highlight icons on my Instagram.
Okay, so keep an eye on CapeTownDiva.com. Okay, so if you had to name one sort of off the beaten track destination that people should put on their travel radar for the year,
I'm going to say in South Africa, go to Gwegwe in Pondoland, and in Namibia, go to the northwest, go to Serikafema, and go to Desert Rhino Camp and speak to Natural Selection Wilderness, and they will sort it out for you.
And they do things
They're
so
well on it.
Oh, okay. If you are lucky enough to have that experience, it's one you will never forget for the rest of your life. Allison Foat, always lovely to have you with us, and safe and happy travels, and in advance, happy anniversary travels.
Thank you, and happy 2026.
You too, and looking forward to chatting to you regularly this year as well.